guys, and welcome to another Carsexposed video. Today we're gonna be working on this 2001 Mercedes SLK 170 compressor. No crank, no start. I've been fiddling with it, just trying to do some visual inspection, finding all the modules. That's why you see the car here, the situation with the car. I didn't have any wiring diagrams. I looked into auto data. The only diagrams they had was to do with the air conditioning. Then I tried HGS, also very unhelpful. So finally got some wiring diagrams. So I'm gonna show you what I've been doing, and then we're gonna do some measurements with the wiring diagrams that I got. So as you can see there, ignition is off, ignition on. The battery is low. 11.6. Might have to charge a little bit. Gets to 11.7 and start beeping. But there you go. Start error. The car doesn't crank. Try to crank it. There you go. So you crank, nothing happens. So no crank, no starts. Right, diagnosis. Units, right. So we're gonna try the ECU to see if we have any codes there. Read codes. Right, so P202C-8 is stored in current. So come message from the control module, electronic ignition switch, EIS, EZS, can signal interruption, drive authorization. So that's the message that I had. And DAS module, or the immobilizer module, is here on the back of the dashboard. So that's why, or the back of the cluster, that's why I had to remove everything, and to get also to the ignition switch, which is totally mechanical. Data on the ECU module itself, nothing to do with the immobilizer. So probably, there you go, drive authorization. Right, so we got the serial number here, ECM initialized, ECM transport protection detached, ECM personalized, ECM activated, and ECM enabled no. Right, so although the ECM has been activated, so you probably have powers and grounds and so on, it hasn't been enabled to start the car. So we definitely got a immobilizer issue, in my opinion. Something going on between the immobilizer module, which is just here at the back here, and the ECU or ECM. Right, so here how this drive authorization system works. So you have obviously your key, your ignition, and then you turn the key, it will read the chip in the key, send the signals to your immobilizer module, DAS module, and then it'll send the information by COM line to the ECU. The ECU obviously is gonna start the engine. Right, it's pretty clear to me that we have a immobilizer issue. I spoke to the owner. He said he drove the car, parked for a couple of days, and then tried to start the car again, and he had that message on the dashboard, and the car wouldn't crank. I asked for the second key, the same thing, both keys doesn't work. So pretty strange, you know. So I wanted to do like a visual inspection and see if I could see anything wrong, you know, the old rust and corrosion to the cables, and I want to make sure the starter motor worked as well. So I removed the control wire from the starter motor, tried to follow it back because I didn't have any wiring diagrams, which is this purple wire here, and then you have a connection block, and then becomes that white and purple with the blue going inside the fuse box. Test all the fuse box, did a little bit of research about this K40 relay module, open it up, all good. I tried to activate the starter motor, give it 12 volts to the control wire, and that works. And I looked all the cables here from the ECU, and I could see a little bit of oil there, which first of all I thought was WD-40, just, you know, to protect against corrosion, but I think it's engine oil for some reason. So I'll follow the starter cable, and it comes to this fuse box. I test all the fuses and all good. Apparently there's another problem with the fuse 37 and 35. They get corrosion on them. I cleaned them up, put them back, all good. So this is the purple and white wire for the starter motor. So that's the control wire, but obviously without the wiring diagram I couldn't see the input from the ECU. Remove that little module there, which again you have like relays inside. All the relays are modules in this car. All clean, no problem, no corrosion, no broke joints. The same thing with the K40 module, which are relays inside. There's a couple points that burn over time and then give you a problem, and they're all good as well. So far couldn't find anything wrong here. Everything seems to match up apart from input signal to the starter motor. Right, so because the starter motor seems to be controlled by this module, by the relays inside this module here, I'm just gonna quickly check all the wiring here. There's about 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 wires, so should be nice and quick. We might find out, you know, where the command from the ECU comes from. Right, so it's this module here, cycle module N65 170 from 2000. Right, so we have the connector A, F, B, D, C, E. We don't have any wiring going to the connector E. This one here is for AMG, sorry, AMG, so it's not gonna apply for this model. Right, so connector A1 right here, we have power all times, so it goes to the ignition 30, which is battery power. Let's see if we can find the ground. This one goes to HCS headlights. Here's the headlight control switch. So I'm not gonna bother about this one. So got command from the switch to this module. So this one is not gonna apply for what we're doing. And then you have this brown wire, which is ground. And then pin number 2, it comes from the ECU. And then we have our internal relay here. Let's have a look at the other side. So this is one side of the relay coil. The other side is this pink and red, goes to here. That'll be ignition 15 on the key ignition. So should have an ignition, you should have power coming to the coil, and the ECU will be ground in the other side with this pin number 2 here. So let's say pin number 1 and 5, powers and ground, brown wire ground, the black one 12 volts or battery power, and number 2 should be ground. It goes to pin number 7 on ECU. So should have ground here when we crank it. And then the relay we activate purple. That's the purple and white that we saw to the starter motor. Go to the connector here, and then the starter motor down here. So number 50 there. So there we go. So should have ground on that wire when we crank it. So connector number 8, which is this one with the 4 wires here. Black is our battery power, ignition, terminal 30, and the brown should be ground. So I'm gonna put the probe there. Another probe this side of the black, and let's have nothing. Oh, there we go. It wasn't connected very good, so yeah, we definitely have powers and grounds here. So our blue is for our headlight washers, and this pink and red we should have grounds when we crank it. All right, so we want a black, which is power, 12 volts, battery power, then a pink and red. So I'm gonna crank the car, see if the lights up. Well, I'm cranky now. Nothing. Right, so if you remember correctly, the other side of this pink and red wire is ignition. So I left the ignition on. Let me try to grab a ground here. So if in theory, if we give ground to this pink and red wire now, pin number 2, it should crank. Oh, there we go. Right, so that circuit is good. Connector number F we can disregard as well, because we obviously the starter motor start turning. Terminal 2, the other side of the relay is good as well, because we had the ignition on. Terminal 15 here, and that worked, that cranked the motor. Now pin number 1, this purple, goes to terminal 50, which is our cranking. So let me see if we have signal from the ignition switch. So connector B, pin number 1, the purple one. Have our purple here, which is gonna be our signal. Then we need ground. It's gonna be our brown wire. We should have power there when we crank. So let me do the test light here. Nice. When we crank, test light should light up. I'm gonna crank now. There we go. Do it again. There we go. So ignition switch is good. The signal is getting to here. So now we only have one left now, which is C. Connector C goes to a pump, HCS pump. So we're gonna disregard that one. So our test here is done. So we don't have the signal, which we kind of knew it. Don't have the signal from pin 7 from the ECU to the cycle module, NE65 module, pin number 2 when we crank. So before I go and test the switch and the DAS module, just gonna do a continuity check here on this wire to the ECU. So pin number 2, if you can see this pink and red, so I'm back probing it. And pin number 7, as we saw in the diagram, so this plug here, if you look inside there, just next to the green, you see pin number 7. So I'm just going to do a continuity check. Let's see if I'm on the wire there. I think I'm on the wire there. So it's this pink here, by the way. pink and red. And I think I'm on it, I think. Yeah, I'm on there. Just gonna connect my multimeter there. Oh, there you go. Don't think it's well connected, but yeah, it's not well connected, but we do have continuity. There you go, it went down. I stopped pressing things here, went down to 2 ohms. So I'm just checking continuity. So that is good. So pin number 7. Alright, so let's test this K40 relay. So we've got plug A, B, C, D, and E. So looking at the test values here, I only have A2. So A2 should be 12 volts ignition on. And there's nothing. And because I was minus here, it went to 0. I think I probably got ground here. Yeah, probably got ground. Oh there. Right, let's move on to number connector B. Connector B, pin 1, 2, and 4 should have 12 volts at all times. So 1, battery voltage, 2, battery voltage, and 4, battery voltage. So that's good. So now 3 and 5. 3 engine running, so 3 engine running, so not going to be able to do that. And then B5 should be approximately 0 ohms to ground, so that's our ground there. And 0 volts, so it's a bit of a voltage drop test here. So there we go. So connector C, 1 and 3 is not used. 4 and 5, 12 volts. Yeah, so connector C, we only have 4 and 5 anyway. 4, battery voltage. 5, battery voltage. Connector D, D1, ignition off. Approximately 0 ohms. Ignition on, measure the circuits. That's for the horn anyway, I'm not gonna worry about that. D2, 12 volts. Ignition on. So there we go, 12 volts. And then the big one, connector E. 1 and 1 is only when the horn is activated, so not gonna have anything there. 12 volts on pin 2. Let me try number 1 anyway. That's only gonna activate when the horn is activated, so nothing there. Pin number 2, battery voltage. 3 for the fuel pump. The fuel pump is working. E4, 5 and 6, 12 volts. So 4, 5, and 6. We don't have the 4 there, so it probably doesn't apply for this car. So that's what happens sometimes, you know, you get wiring diagrams that doesn't really, you have to take a pinch of salt. So pin number 5. Doesn't seem to have no. Ah, there we go. So 12 volts, and then number 6, 12 volts as well. So, and then we don't have the E7 is not used. So the only issue here is this A2. It says we should have battery ignition on. 12 volts. The ignition is on now. So I'm not sure. I wonder if I should remove that plug to see if I've got 12 volts when it's connected. just in case. Like I mean, sometimes you have to take these instructions with a pinch of salt. There you go. Oh, the fan's running. Alright, so we have 12 volts there. And the fan's running. So we do have 12 volts coming out from that. Plug back in. There you go. So I'm not gonna worry about that because the fan running for me is not okay. So let's just keep that in the back of our minds. But it seems okay here. Alright, so next to the ignition switch here, we have first position, the yellow wire, yellow and purple 15, and then the two reds at all times, and the P, which is green, on a position 1. So I've got my probe here on the red wire, one of the red wires, the big one. That is battery voltage 1188. Next red wire, there you go, battery voltage again, but battery is a little bit low, but that's okay. And the next one, we're going to look at the yellow. There you go, yellow and purple. Position 1. There you go, position 1. Again, battery voltage. Now the green wire. So that's good. So we move to position 2. That should lose power, which is right. Position 2, pink and red. Then put the ignition on. There you go. Battery voltage again. Position 1. Position 2. Now we go to the pink and green. I know the pink and green is not showing on the diagram there, but that's the only one left out. So there we go. Position 1. Hope you can see it there. Position 2. Battery voltage. So position now is position 3, which is going to be our purple wire, which is for the starter motor. All right, so every time we crank it now, we should have voltage there. You see it? Put it on. So position 2, crank. See voltage. So the ignition switch is good. It's all working okay here. Right, I just got this as well, just to check if the key obviously is sending the signal to the module. So basically this antenna here energizes the chip inside the key and then sends a signal. So if the chip is working, if the coil is working, basically this LED should light up, just to make sure the key is all right. I know, oh, there we go. So that's all good. I kind of knew it because the other key doesn't start the car either, so that's basically it. That's nice and handy actually. There we go. So that works pretty well, so no issues with the key. Alright, so on to our DAS module. It's 170 from 2000. So here we are. So we have connector 1, quite a few pins on that. Connecting 2, our CON line low and CON high, and then this one is our transponder coil. Okay, so let's have a look what we need to test. So pin 10, we're gonna have battery voltage. Pin 18, battery voltage, and then we have a control coming out. You can see this little arrow here, So we've got power coming to the module, got this control wire coming out from the module, which grounds this internal relay here. So this is going to be ground. Lock confirmation relay. Okay. What else? Pin 16 is our ground. 3 interior lights and tail lamp. That's all working, so I'm not going to worry about that. That's going to the multifunction module. So that is tail lamp. Not going to worry about that. 11 cockpit tail lamp harness. All working. Not going to worry about that. P9 and 8 tail lamp harness. Oh yeah. Trunk lid circuits. Which is all working, so not gonna worry about that. So pin 17, diagonal thing is going to our DLC. The antenna is working because obviously you can open the car, you can lock and unlock the car, so the antenna is working. Connector number 2, can low and can high, so we're gonna check that. And pin number 3 is our transponder coil, so we know that's working as well. We test that with our transponder tool. I wrote it down here what we need to check. So connector 1, pin 10 and 18 battery voltage, pin 2 ground control coming out of the module, pin 16 ground, connector 2 green for our can low and white for our can high. So I'm gonna check that now. This is our connector 2, the white here with the green pin, green wire and white wire. And then the big connector is what we're gonna check next. Right, let's put the ignition on. There we go, ignition is on. There we are. Let me stop this capture here, and as you can see here, test book, absolute test book waveform. So color lines are good. There you go, that's an example here for a waveform, so absolutely perfect, no issues here. Let's play that again. So spot on. Right, so the big connector, more pin number 2, yellow and black. I'll remove the little cover for the connector. So back probing pin number 2, which it says ground control. And I've been trying to find out what it is. There's no ground there. Okay, so let's see if I can do the test light inside there. That's not going to stay. Oh yeah, it's not going to stay, is it? Right, let's see if it stays there for 1 second. Basically is a ground control for the locking mechanism, so every time you lock, the hazard lights come on. So let me lock again. See flashing, the dashboard flashes at the same time, so that's working. It's going to be really difficult to show you there, but I'm on a pin 16, the brown wire, which is constant ground. Ignition is not on, and we have ground. So now we just got to test So that was pin 16, pin 10 and pin 18 for battery voltage. And move the probe. I'm on a pin 18, red and green I believe it is. It should be constant power. So I'm gonna find the ground there. There we go, constant power. I'm gonna move to pin 10. Right, so pin 10 is like blue, pink and red. Right, the other end. And again, touch ground. I think the ignition's got to be on this one. There we go. So pin 10, I think pink, blue and red, I think it is. So there you go. So all powers and grounds, can signal, everything else. Okay, so all match up. Right, so at this point, we testing everything. I decided to test the 2 pins that comes out from the ECU as well. As you can see, green and white for the con lines. So we're gonna scope that just to see, just to make sure there's no problem in the wiring. And as you can see here, again, the same thing. Perfect signal. Let me start capturing again. No issues whatsoever. So what else can we do? Right, just one thing that I found. If you can see the wire diagram here, you see this arrow in and out. So, you know, let's say that will be the signal direction or the current direction, if you like. And you can see you've got arrows both ends, both sides. And what I did, I checked the current line coming out of the module, which is, it's not such a valid test, I suppose, because, and I'm not going to do it now because I had to use this connectors here and use my both hands. But I remove that cable for the current line. I get current line signal from the ECU, but I have nothing coming out from the module. And I don't know if the ECU's got to request information for it to send something, or what I was trying to do, I was putting the ignition on expecting to see a signal, but there was nothing, absolutely dead. So far that's the only thing that I found. I mean, I feel like I've checked enough stuff, wiring. I was expecting to see some corrosion, some probably connectors, some wires damaged or something like that, but at this point I can only blame the module. We've got that little problem with the oil and the ECU, and at this point I'm not sure if the ECU is the problem or is the mobilizer. The ECU could be damaged with oil, engine oil, and also I found this, which no information coming out from the mobilizer module, so which I'm not really sure this, you know, it should be sending a signal without the ECU being requesting something. So maybe not such a valid test, but at this point I'm just trying everything, and I can only blame the modules really. So I've looked online. I can buy a set of modules that comes with everything, lock, new keys and everything else, for £150. To buy just the immobilizer module from Mercedes, I think new is like 500. You can get it online for 70 odd pounds, and I think I'm just gonna get the whole lot and exchange it, because I'm still not really sure which one of the modules are a fault, you know. So just gonna do that. Should be here in a couple of days, and then I'll turn the camera on again, and we'll see if it's gonna work. So I'll see you in part 2.
Baby, I'm a fighter, never backing down. Baby, I'm a soldier, standing my ground. So if you're gonna fight me for my heart, all you gonna get is battle scars. Baby, I'm a tiger, 27. Baby, I'm a biker, one bite to death. So if you're gonna fight me for my heart, all you gonna get is battle scars.